right. Welcome to Puck Off with Gun. And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's 2 days. Yeah, should be a good day. Well, to all our American friends.
Yeah.
Our Canadian friends. I think that's a little while for them. Or they already had it. There's something like that. I just know it's not the same day.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Well, tonight we're supposed to learn this whole Las Vegas NHL expansion team monstrosity name and the colors. But, unlike normal people, what they should have done is do it today, earlier in the day, like before puck drops or anything important. No, they're deciding to do it at 8 o'clock tonight, Central Time.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, we will not have that for said podcast.
Yeah. We'll have that banter next week, I suppose.
But, okay, out of the Golden Knights, the Desert Knights, and the Silver Knights, what would you choose?
Well, the Desert Knights and the Golden Knights seem to be, for me, the two more viable options.
Yeah, I agree. I like Desert over Golden. I like that. Well, obviously, Vegas is in the desert. I mean, you can't really compare it to anything because Vegas doesn't have another professional team. I think it'd be really cool if the Raiders went to Vegas, like they're saying could happen. They're the Silver Knights. You figure they'd be black and silver. Raiders are black and silver. That'd be pretty cool. But something that you came up with is, well, they'll be in this, I think they'll even be in the same division as the Kings, which are also black and silver.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of an issue there.
Yeah, competing colors. And I mean, like, a lot of teams have similar colors, but at the same time, like, there's not a whole lot of teams that...
I just can't see him picking the Golden Knights, and I say that on record now, so that means in 2 hours we're going to find out that they're the Golden Knights. I just, because the third jersey is going to be a gold jersey, and I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. I feel like if it's the Golden Knights, they're going to go black, gold, and white, or dark green, gold, and white, which I feel is too close to the London Knights, which they already had problems with because they were going to call themselves the Knights, so they couldn't technically use the trademark in Canada.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess overall I would have to go Desert Knights.
Yeah. Yeah, Las Vegas couldn't come up with anything that was an alliteration, I guess that would be.
Yeah, they didn't want anything that was like, you didn't want to choose the Aces or the Gamblers or
Las
like
Vegas. That. Las Vegas Vandals or
They shouldn't do anything that reflects their crime rate and or gambling.
Yeah.
So,
Las Vegas Volunteers. It doesn't.
There's no volunteering in. There's none whatsoever.
Las Vegas Vegetarians.
I mean, whatever, sure. There's not many things. There's not many things that you can really come up with a V there.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. Well, there's a few things, but that's neither here nor there. But, I mean, it's really weird to put a team in a place like that that's literally only history is gambling.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to play to that because you look really bad as a league, even though everybody knows that it happens. But I don't know. It's one of those things. Something I seen today that I was kind of looking over, like how the team might play out as far as the expansion, and I don't think it's going to be a good year for them.
No.
Everybody's getting re-signed and or traded to be re-signed.
Yeah.
They're not going to have that one stick-out player that's going to be that captain representative.
I feel like until, like, they actually, like, participate in the actual draft, a lot of their players are just going to be middle of the road guys.
I mean, yeah, you're thinking third, fourth liners.
Yeah.
Like, especially when they're going to pick up. Like, I think here in St. Louis, I have a feeling that Yaskin might be the one to go. You know?
Yeah.
I would say him over anybody that's here. Him or Pay-RV, but Pay-RV's in the AHL right now. So, I think with the Blues, it'd be one of those two guys. And, I mean, I'm not going to say I'd be sad to see him go, but that everybody that Vegas is going to have on their team next year, I think on every other 32 teams or 30 teams is replaceable.
Yeah.
So you're going to have literally the replacements as your team. Now, that's not saying they can't do it, but, you know, overall, just expansion teams don't have a good winning season anyways.
They're going to have a team that hasn't, like, a lot of the players probably haven't even played on the same team together.
Oh, yeah, there's going to be no chemistry whatsoever.
So it's going to be a struggle with that, struggle with guys that are just going to be middle of the road guys.
Yeah, I guess I don't think you can call them the Las Vegas struggle buses, but I think next year you might have to. I mean, it's just not a but Foley, who owns the team, he knows going in that it's going to be, you know, it's going to be hard, and I don't know. I mean, if you look at some of the last expansion teams, like the Ottawa Senators came in 92, 93. They went 10-70-4 their first season. That's not good. Like that's not great at all.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay, a little better, 92-93, 23-54-7. But it's not great. The San Jose Sharks, who are now, when they came in 91-92 as that expansion team, they, you know, that Southern California was not the hockey hotbed that it is now.
Yeah, Bay Area.
That Bay Area, yeah. They went 17-58-5. But I mean, they didn't have to wait long to get good.
Yeah.
But I hate to say it, but maybe they'll go the way of the 74-75 Washington Capitals, who went 8-67-5. Like that's garbage. That's not good.
Yeah, and there's with all with the teams that were part of the expansion, like especially even with the early expansion, if Las Vegas plays their cards right,
Yeah.
chuckle.
Throw some jabs in.
They could have I feel like they could, if they do everything right, they could have a decent team in 3-4 years.
3-4 years. I mean, if you think about it, like the the 74-75 Capitals, who only won 8 games, things really didn't get better to them because they didn't make the playoffs for 8 years after it was an expansion team, and that's. I don't think that will happen in today's terms as much as free agency and trades and everything. You never know, especially with people trading and the way that money is thrown about. I mean, I'm not saying they can't get anybody big or it's going to take that long.
Yeah.
But I really see, and this is with, I kind of see expansion hockey as kind of a 4-year project, kind of like an NCAA football team. You have to get those. You know, in football terms, freshmen, sophomores.
Yeah, you have to take that hit for a while.
Yeah, you got to have that learning curve, and especially getting everybody used to play with each other because there are so many NHL players now, and like you said though, there's so many that just haven't played together or do not know each other.
Yeah,
or that came from with there being 30 other teams came from so many different systems.
Yeah, and there's a. And with the growth of the hockey, with the hockey, oh my gosh, with the growth of hockey since the strike and everything, the talent pool has gotten significantly larger.
Yeah, it has.
So I feel like Las Vegas really has to play into that as well with, like, I don't even know what do they have a minor league team that they can pull from, or that they're going to be connected with?
I'm sure they do, but I don't know it off the top of my head. And that's the thing is you got to have that pool somewhere. I would assume they're affiliated with somebody, an AHL team, an ECHL team, and probably not an OHL, but at least ECHL and AHL for sure. I just haven't seen it yet. Maybe that'll get announced tonight. But once again, we're not sure what's going to happen because they decided to do it, the middle of the night here for some reason.
Yeah. Yeah. There was something that I was thinking about with Las Vegas that I can't seem to put my finger on.
I don't know. I'm not as much against the whole Las Vegas thing as I was, say, when we first started this.
Yeah, like I'm just the way that, because to me, I felt like there should have been another team.
Well, yeah, I think I agree. It's always better to have, they bring in two at a time, but then I think that's when you run into the whole, a lot of times one team moves to somewhere else, so it's two, or they move two teams, like Colorado and Phoenix, how they did that. Mm-hmm. They moved in the same year, so you kind of had that. You had two new teams, but I mean, it was really just relocating. You didn't have somebody coming in. You moved a full team.
Yeah.
I mean, it would make sense to put in two teams.
Yeah. And even though like Quebec is more closer to the east side of the league, I'm excited to see what they do in Seattle and how that plays out.
I hope they put a team in Seattle. I think it'd be great for them. Like, Seattle's a good sports town. Seattle was also a really big NBA town, and they lost their team, and like they've been wanting that team back for a while. But I don't know. I think it'll maybe be another 4 or 5 years before an expansion team is brought in, and the whole thing that everything really revolves around now is money and the stadium issue. A lot of people don't want to, like, a lot of cities don't want to have to pay for that stadium. And then when they pay for the stadium, are they going to have enough revenue to bring in to pay for that stadium in the long run? Mm-hmm. And that's kind of Quebec's troubles. They built this stadium, but yet they don't have the money to pay for it. So it's literally just sitting there. They have a stadium that could house an NHL team, but they can't pay for it. And I'm not saying that they built it on wishful thinking, but it doesn't help, especially when it's a proven fact that if you own an NHL team, you're gonna almost break even every year. You're not gonna see much of a profit in certain ways.
Yeah.
So it's always good for teams. There's a few teams around the league who own their stadium, or at least their owner owns it.
And part of their outside revenue comes from events that are outside of hockey.
Yeah.
Like with the Blues, their Blues are slowly losing out on events coming to the stadium because it just needs to be revamped.
Yeah, and I mean, we were lucky enough. I think a couple years ago we had the NCAA. I think we've had it like 5 to 7 years in a row. We had the NCAA wrestling finals here. We've had a lot of things, like we get some March Madness games. Concerts roll through and all that. And I think that's easier for us to do because I'm not going to say we're a major market city, but we're a travelable city. And for Quebec to bring in those things, you're looking at saying a big tour, will say like Aerosmith or a band that people know. They're more viable to go on a